According to archival records for seismic activity in the year 2025, the state of California has experienced roughly 22,149 earthquakes. These events have ranged in magnitude up to 5.2. Among this vast number of seismic occurrences, there was one significant event measuring above magnitude 5, about 16 incidents between magnitude 4 and 5, and approximately 188 between magnitude 3 and 4. These figures underscore the persistent geological activity taking place beneath the surface, particularly along the San Andreas Fault. Scientists have recently come forward to warn that the fault is under visible stress and that movement is actively occurring beneath the Earth's crust. Cracks are now reportedly forming in certain areas, leading experts and residents alike to grow increasingly concerned. The United States Geological Survey has detected seismic activity along the San Andreas Fault, a major fault line that stretches over 800 miles from Cape Mendocino in the north all the way down to the Salton Sea in the south. Thousands of these earthquakes have occurred in or near this region, raising alarm among seismologists and the public. Historical data shows that the San Andreas Fault typically produces a major earthquake approximately every 150 years. The last such significant event took place 167 years ago, leading many to conclude that California is overdue for what has long been referred to as the Big One. Dr. Sue Howe, a scientist within the United States Geological Survey's Earthquake Hazards Program, noted in an interview with media outlets that studies remain conflicted about whether or not large earthquakes are preceded by noticeable signs. While some research has pointed to increased seismic activity leading up to a major event, other findings suggest there may be little or no warning. The concept of the Big One has lingered in the minds of Californians and experts for decades. This earthquake represents a catastrophic event capable of causing widespread damage across Southern California and nearby areas. While smaller earthquakes are a regular occurrence in the region, the potential for a high-magnitude event remains a central concern due to the sheer scale of devastation it could cause. A quake of this magnitude could damage infrastructure, overwhelm emergency services, and displace millions of people. Despite uncertainty about the exact timing, most scientists agree that such an earthquake is inevitable. The looming possibility of the Big One continues to shape emergency preparedness policies and the design of buildings, roads, and bridges across the state. It also influences how Californians live their everyday lives, knowing that their environment is in constant geological flux. At the core of these concerns lies the San Andreas Fault itself. Spanning nearly 750 miles, this massive fault line marks the boundary between the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate. These two tectonic plates are constantly grinding against one another in opposite directions. As this movement builds up stress along the fault, it is eventually released in the form of earthquakes. Most of these tremors are minor and go unnoticed by the public, but they serve as reminders of the fault's restless nature. Of particular concern to scientists is the southern segment of the San Andreas Fault. This stretch of the fault passes through highly populated areas including Los Angeles, San Bernardino, and Riverside. Seismologists believe that when the Big One does occur, it will be a strike-slip earthquake, a type of event where the two plates slide past each other horizontally. The energy released from such an event would likely be immense, causing the ground to shake for several minutes and potentially rupturing the fault for hundreds of miles. The shaking could extend beyond California, reaching into nearby states and triggering regional emergencies. The estimated magnitude of the Big One could surpass 8 on the Richter scale, placing it among the most powerful earthquakes recorded in United States history. The consequences would not end with the shaking alone. A quake of this magnitude could trigger several secondary effects, including landslides in hilly regions and soil liquefaction in areas with saturated ground. Liquefaction is a phenomenon where solid ground temporarily loses its strength due to intense shaking, causing buildings to tilt or collapse. In mountainous areas, landslides could obstruct roads and isolate entire communities. Tsunamis also remain a possibility, although California's coastline is generally not prone to the types of waves that devastate Pacific Island nations. Still, if the quake affects underwater faults, it could generate waves large enough to cause concern, especially in harbors and low-lying coastal towns. The potential social and economic consequences of such a disaster are difficult to fully predict. Roads, bridges, pipelines, and power lines would likely suffer extensive damage. Hospitals might become overwhelmed, and communication systems could go offline. In the days and weeks following the quake, the challenge would extend beyond emergency response to include rebuilding and long-term recovery. Much of California's modern infrastructure is built with earthquakes in mind, yet there remains concern over older buildings and vulnerable neighborhoods. Even with advanced engineering and strict building codes, there is only so much that can be done to prepare for a quake of this magnitude. Local and state agencies frequently conduct earthquake drills and update response plans, but many residents still lack access to preparedness tools such as emergency kits or structural evaluations of their homes. Furthermore, the psychological toll of such an event would be substantial. Californians live with the knowledge that the ground beneath them is unpredictable. The constant reminders from scientists and the media reinforce a sense of unease, even as people go about their normal routines. This ongoing tension, combined with a potential lack of warning, makes the big one not just a geological event, but a societal challenge as well. In conclusion, the seismic activity observed in California during the year 2025 has reignited concerns about the long-anticipated big one. With over 22,000 earthquakes recorded so far this year alone, many of which occurred along the San Andreas Fault, scientists are urging greater awareness and preparedness. While it remains impossible to predict the exact timing of such a disaster, all indicators suggest that the risk is real and growing. The potential for a large-scale earthquake in California is not a matter of if, but when. As the state continues to monitor its geological activity and enhance its emergency response capabilities, the hope is that when the big one does strike, communities will be as ready as possible to withstand its impact. In the year 2020, there was a tragic event where 350 elephants encountered an unexplained ending in Botswana. This devastating incident was followed by the loss of an additional 30 elephants under similar mysterious circumstances in Zimbabwe. Recently, there have been reports indicating a peculiar change in elephant behavior as they have been spotted migrating to higher elevations. Additionally, observations have been made of these elephants displaying unusual conduct, such as aimlessly wandering in circles. The situation has raised concerns among scientists and wildlife experts. Elephants have long been associated with a mysterious sixth sense, believed to enable them to detect earthquakes, according to generations of folklore and cultural beliefs. Across various societies, these majestic creatures are revered as symbols of wisdom and intuition, with a rich tapestry of stories and legends attributing them to supernatural abilities. One of the most well-known instances involves a herd of elephants in Thailand that supposedly sought higher ground mere hours before the catastrophic Indian Ocean tsunami in 2004, highlighting their purported capacity to foresee natural disasters. Moreover, there are plentiful accounts of elephants displaying atypical behavior preceding seismic events, such as trumpeting, restlessness, or efforts to flee enclosures, underscoring the intriguing connection between these remarkable beings and seismic phenomena. The ingrained notion of elephants possessing an extraordinary sensitivity to impending earthquakes persists and continues to captivate the human imagination, showcasing the enduring fascination with their perceived supernatural abilities and deep-rooted cultural significance. Elephants' uncanny ability to potentially sense earthquakes could be attributed to their exceptional hearing acuity and sensitivity to infrasound, the subtle low-frequency vibrations discharged by seismic movements preceding an earthquake. These majestic creatures utilize infrasound for long-distance communication, a mode that can penetrate both solid materials like the ground and water. It is theorized by some researchers that elephants might detect alterations in infrasound patterns linked to seismic activities, granting them the capability to anticipate earthquakes before they strike. Furthermore, the combination of elephants' substantial physique and remarkable tactile perception may empower them to perceive slight modifications in the Earth's surface, like vibrations or tremors, heralding impending seismic occurrences. Such extraordinary sensory capabilities underscore the intricate relationship between elephants and their natural environment, shedding light on their potential as early warning systems for seismic events, a phenomenon that continues to captivate and intrigue scientists worldwide. Research findings indicate that elephants have an intricate social structure and communication system, enabling them to convey messages and alerts within their herd. In their natural habitat, elephants have been observed displaying behaviors indicating distress or unease when faced with environmental changes or potential dangers like seismic events. This behavior suggests a heightened sensitivity to their surroundings. By effectively communicating these warnings to their fellow herd members, elephants engage in a collaborative effort to synchronize their movements and retreat to safety in anticipation of imminent natural disasters. The ability of elephants to transmit such vital information underscores the depth of their social cohesion and survival strategies within their communities in the face of adversity. This intricate communication network contributes significantly to the overall well-being and security of the elephant population. When an earthquake occurs, the vibrations it generates can often go unnoticed by humans due to their low frequency, but are perceivable by larger animals like elephants, who seem more attuned to these subtle movements. Anecdotal reports indicate that animals may exhibit behavioral changes prior to natural disasters, with studies revealing that even silkworms exhibit unusual behaviors in response to seismic vibrations akin to those of an earthquake. In cases where earthquakes are of significant magnitude and occur near the shore, the resulting tsunamis can unleash towering waves exceeding 100 feet that can inundate coastal regions, highlighting the immense power and destructive potential of such natural phenomena. In-depth analysis reveals that various factors beyond seismic activity influence elephants' responses, including weather changes, habitat disruptions, and social dynamics within herds. As mentioned, during the tsunami in Thailand, elephants moving to elevated locations beforehand may not have solely reacted to the earthquake, but also to signals like atypical sea currents or the behaviors of neighboring creatures. Scientists posit that these additional triggers, alongside seismic activity, could have collectively prompted the elephant's evacuation to higher ground. This intricate interplay of environmental cues and social interactions sheds light on the complex decision-making processes exhibited by elephants in the face of natural disasters. It emphasizes the need for a holistic understanding of how these majestic creatures navigate and adapt to their surroundings, showcasing the intricate web of factors that shape their behavior during critical events. Research on elephants' reactions to seismic occurrences has produced conflicting outcomes, with certain studies indicating a potential link between elephant conduct and earthquakes, whereas others refute the existence of any substantial proof backing this association. An illustration of this disparity can be seen in two separate investigations, one carried out in Nepal and another in California. The Nepalese study observed that elephants under human care displayed heightened unease and restlessness leading up to an earthquake event. Conversely, the research conducted in California reported a lack of consistent behavioral patterns among wild elephants following seismic activities. This disparity in findings underscores the complexity of understanding elephants' responses to seismic events and highlights the importance of further exploration in this area. The contrasting results emphasize the nuanced nature of elephants' behavior in relation to seismic occurrences and underscore the necessity for continued research to unravel the intricacies of this phenomenon. The Viking Age has long captivated the imagination of people throughout the generations. Recently, a remarkable archaeological find has emerged, an ancient Viking temple that offers fresh insights into the fascinating world of Norse religion. It is astonishing to realize that despite our fascination with these formidable warriors and intrepid explorers, there remains a great deal we are yet to fully comprehend. Particularly, our knowledge surrounding the specific religious customs practiced by the Vikings is relatively limited. Hence, the unearthing of this extraordinary Viking temple in Norway, dedicated to the Norse gods, holds unparalleled significance in expanding our understanding of this ancient civilization's beliefs and rituals. The discovery of this newly found Viking temple has proven to be a milestone in unraveling the mysteries surrounding Viking spirituality. It showcases the tremendous importance the Norse gods held within their culture and provides us with invaluable glimpses into their religious practices. Back in 2020, a team of seasoned archaeologists, hailing from the esteemed University Museum of Bergen, revealed that they were engaged in an extensive excavation endeavor unfolding at the colossal Os farm located near Årsta, in the scenic western region of Norway. This noteworthy undertaking forms an integral part of a meticulous recovery initiative, which precedes the construction of an immense residential complex in the vicinity. This erudite group strongly posits that the magnanimous site in question served as a thriving settlement during the early Viking era, with its historical roots stretching back an astonishing 1,200 years. The basis for this assertion lies in the archaeological remnants of ancient longhouses, meticulously unearthed and meticulously studied, which affirm this settlement's age and cultural significance. The archaeological site yielded various intriguing findings, but the most captivating and significant one was the unearthing of a pagan temple. The scarcity of evidence documenting Viking religious practices, particularly their places of worship in Scandinavia, makes this discovery even more remarkable. Generally, remnants of pre-Christian religious rituals are limited to artifacts. However, a groundbreaking revelation emerged as Life in Norway reports that, for the first time, tangible and indisputable traces of a sacred structure have been discovered in Norway, shedding new light on the ancient Viking religion. This unparalleled finding enriches our understanding of the religious landscape existing prior to the arrival of Christianity in the region. The western section of the excavation site yielded a momentous discovery that initially led the team to believe they had stumbled upon a substantial longhouse. However, their findings turned out to be much more extraordinary: an ancient Viking temple. With approximate dimensions of 46 feet in length and 26 feet in width, this temple may have once stood as tall as 40 feet, supported by remarkably sturdy wall posts. Interestingly, it deviated from the conventional construction of contemporary three-aisled longhouses, characterized by double rows of roof-supporting posts. Upon further exploration, archaeologists unearthed the remnants of 4 imposing yet meticulously arranged large posts located at a distance of approximately 12 feet from one another, serving as essential supports for the temple's roof. This fascinating discovery sheds new light on the architectural diversity and design ingenuity of Viking structures, providing invaluable insights into ancient Norse culture and worship practices. The archaeologists made an intriguing discovery when they unearthed an ancient Viking temple that exhibited a remarkable departure from the traditional longhouses commonly associated with the Vikings. This newly found structure, much like the renowned temple at Tissø in Denmark, represents one of the few Viking temples ever found. According to reports in English, these temples were likely employed by religious cults for ceremonies, worship, and potentially even sacrifices. Notably, experts have observed that this recently discovered Viking temple is relatively smaller in size compared to the few others that have been uncovered. Søren Dienhoff, who actively participated in the study, revealed to Live Science that this remarkable finding marks the first known Old Norse temple in Norway. Consequently, it stands as a momentous discovery, being the sole religious structure of its kind ever identified in the country. The temple, which was commonly referred to as a god house, held immense significance in its time. In an interview with Life in Norway, Dienhoff revealed that this site served as a venue for grand festivities, undoubtedly involving rituals and offerings to the gods. It is highly likely that the temple hosted elaborate ceremonies during the winter and summer solstices, marking important celestial events. During these momentous occasions, devotees would express their devotion towards wooden statues of the revered gods such as Thor, Odin, and Freya. Furthermore, these religious observances were accompanied by abundant feasting as a way to pay homage to these esteemed deities. The viewpoint that is supported by evidence is based on the discovery of a significant number of cooking pits surrounding the structure. These pits served as the cooking grounds for animals that were sacrificed to the gods and subsequently consumed by humans. According to Dienhoff, a knowledgeable source cited by Live Science, these feasts would have been accompanied by a jovial atmosphere, abundant food, and copious amounts of drink. It was believed by the Vikings that the gods, such as Odin and Thor, would partake in these feasts in a spiritual sense, while the physical consumption of the food was reserved for the people. Life in Norway provides further insights into the rituals of Norse sacrificial feasts. It is reported that such a feast would entail the splashing of sacrificed animals' blood over walls, statues of gods, and the participants themselves. This practice added a heightened sense of ceremonial significance to these events. The supporting evidence for this perspective predominantly stems from the existence of numerous cooking pits surrounding the structure. These pits would have been used as preparation areas for the sacrificed animals, which were intended to be consumed by humans. Further corroborating evidence of the site's utilization for ceremonial purposes can be attributed to the unearthing of a significant item connected to ancient religious practices. The ancient Viking Temple in Norway, with its well-preserved remains, holds significant historical relevance within the context of Viking religion. This temple stands as a testament to a crucial period wherein local communities were influenced by the Roman and other external societies, leading to the emergence of societal class distinctions. As explained by Dienhoff in an interview with Live Science, the advent of the Roman Iron Age brought about a socially stratified society, with the influential families assuming control over religious practices. Essentially, the purpose behind the temple was to showcase the authority and devoutness of the elite class, who sought to establish their power and deep-rooted commitment to their spiritual beliefs. This remarkable site provides ample evidence of the evolving social dynamics and religious ideals during that era, shedding light on the fascinating interplay between culture, power, and faith in Viking society. The possible connection between the increasing interactions of the Vikings with the Christian communities across Europe emerges as a significant factor. It is believed that numerous Norse warriors who engaged in trading and voyages within Christian territories were deeply impressed by the grandeur and magnificence of basilicas and churches. Interestingly, the influence of these Christian architectural marvels can be observed in the design and construction of Norse temples, such as the one discovered in western Norway. Consequently, it becomes apparent that the Vikings, renowned for their plundering of churches, were not only captivated by these religious sites, but also drawn to incorporate certain elements into their own places of worship. This suggests that the Vikings, through their exposure to Christianity, experienced a transformative impact on their spiritual beliefs and practices, resulting in the emergence of a more cohesive and ideological religion. The ancient Norse religion, commonly referred to as the Old Viking religion, faced a period of suppression in the 11th century across Norway and other Scandinavian regions. This particular shift can be attributed to the rise of centralized monarchies, which sought to exert control over religious practices. As a result, numerous pagan temples and shrines were forcefully seized and dismantled, reflecting a considerable amount of violence during this period of societal transformation. However, it is interesting to note that recent archaeological discoveries have revealed the existence of an ancient Viking temple in Norway that seems to have remained untouched by these changes. Archaeologists use ground-penetrating radar to find a buried Viking ship in Norway. The Norwegian Institute for Cultural Heritage Research recently revealed that they have uncovered the remains of a Viking ship on a small island in Norway. Remarkably, the ship was discovered beneath a burial mound situated adjacent to an age-old stone church. Emphasizing its importance, Ola Elvestuen, the climate minister of Norway, described this finding as having both national and international significance, as reported by Olaug Bjorneset of NRK and translated by Local Norway. This truly comprehensive discovery has shed light on a fascinating part of Scandinavian history. The Viking ship, once the vessel of intrepid seafarers, now lies entombed alongside remnants of Norwegian heritage. Archaeologists made a remarkable discovery when they came across the skeletal structure of a boat measuring 43 feet in length. This significant finding was made during their examination of detailed ground-penetrating radar scans taken at a field adjacent to Idøy Church, situated on the island of Idøya in close proximity to Trondheim, around 70 miles away. The research team attributes the success of this discovery to the remarkable advancements witnessed in georadar technology, which played a pivotal role in uncovering this finding. Ground-penetrating radar is a technology that utilizes the transmission of electromagnetic waves into the subsurface to generate a visual representation, highlighting variations in wave propagation. This technique proves particularly useful in identifying objects concealed beneath the ground. According to a representative from NICU, the improved equipment they now possess provides them with a high level of certainty regarding their findings. Moreover, the island in question is situated in a location that is historically significant, having been witness to a rich tapestry of Merovingian and Viking activities that date back over 1,000 years. The local inhabitants, although not entirely surprised, expressed great joy upon the discovery. The combination of advanced technology and the island's historical context has undoubtedly contributed to the enthusiasm surrounding this remarkable find. According to Rogers, it has been determined that the ship had an impressive length of approximately 56 feet. However, due to the various ploughing activities carried out over the centuries, some parts of the structure may have suffered damage. While it is still too early for the archaeologists to precisely determine the age of the ship, they have strong suspicions that it dates back over a millennium, surpassing the age of 1,000 years old. In a comprehensive analysis of the findings, Rogers highlights the impressive size of the ship, stating that it measured approximately 56 feet in length.